Alright, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin, I'd like to sing Kal Halal Yamla Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Machak Wadash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone, who do well, and Shalom to the elect. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Yeah, it's gonna be like a follow up to the video I did concerning what you could expect if you join the military. Right, in these times, right, you're gonna enter into a war in which you cannot win, right? Because although the Russians would believe they would defeat the Americans, right, they allied together with the ones that was confederate with Babylon, right, and all of them come against Babylon and Israel, right, in which the land of Babylon gonna be destroyed also with the land of Israel, and the land of Babylon gonna be destroyed without being able to be inhabited again. Right, that's what you could look forward to because you have this notion of the American um, military, right, in which you join with some a certain level of pride and honor to defend your country, to defend your nation's borders, right, and those nations' borders, that country which you're working so hard to defend, it's not going to remain. It's similar to when I say, he that shall seek to keep his life shall lose it, and he that shall seek to lose his life shall attain everlasting life. Just roughly paraphrasing. So your aim is to defend Babylon the Great, right? You're gonna lose Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great is gonna be destroyed. That's the purpose, the Lord purpose against Babylon. Alright. So this ideology I joined in the military, which it's foreign now. So like, when I say foreign now, meaning to say it it was an old ideology. No one really views the military like that anymore. Or the vast majority who did, or that was maybe a reason men may have joined before. That mindset no longer prevalent today, but still gonna have people there. Still gonna have people joining. Now some people just joining for the financial aim, which the military are different branches. You would have see most people would have joined ICE, right? They would have joined ICE, right? I can't remember what the acronym stands for, right? But most people would have joined ICE purely for the financial benefits, right? They didn't consider what was the real purpose of doing this, right? As well as see some veterans from the American military who have suffered PTSD for the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, seeing so much of the fellow comrades die, right? And then realizing that there was there for really no purpose to sit down and say, well, there's no point in joining the military, especially the bad treatment they would have gotten when they came back, right? There's no honor in joining the military anymore, right? So some people may have joined for honor, now they are not joining for honor. So that ideology of joining the military for honor, that is a foreign concept right now. So like, yeah, a little bit under the weather. Right? That is a foreign ideology or a foreign concept now. So now, should you join the military today as military personnel, a man on the ground, right? Whether you be, I believe locally here we have three branches, which is the infantry. I say the infantry, right? The Coast Guard and the Air Guard, which the Coast Guard defends the waters, the Air Guard defends our airspace, and then the infantry, they're the ones on the ground, right? So the ones wearing green, the ones camouflaging in the forest with guerrilla warfare, and what's the other warfare? It's guerrilla warfare and domestic warfare, which guerrilla warfare deals with if you're in the forest, and domestic warfare deals with places like if you go to Afghanistan where there isn't much forest, there's just desert land and concrete structures. Alright. So what you could hope for there? What is the end result there? Right? If there's still some idiot who believes that joining the military as an emeritate with I can't remember who said it, but someone said it. There's a quote, right, where military men are just dumb dogs sent for to do the bidding of the ones who have them who are more above them in power, right? Which I really roughly paraphrase. I'll see if I get it actually. Military men, dumb dogs. Quote. Henry Kissinger, yes, the former U.S. Secretary of State, says the quote you are looking for is famously and controversially attributed to Henry Kissinger, the former U.S. Secretary of State. The most common version of the quote is military men are just dumb dogs, stupid animals who to be used as pawn in foreign policy. Right? So if that was then, imagine how it is now. We're just a wicked agenda going forth throughout the earth today. Right? You even see that at where's that precept? Sirach 26. 26, 26. 26, 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third making me angry, a man of war that suffereth poverty. Right? So there's no honor in joining the military anymore. Right? That has long been since foregone. Right? Because now they're just using you as he just said, pawns, which pawns is what a chessboard, the most disposable pieces. Right? That's why there's so many of them. The most disposable piece, the least powerful piece, you're just gonna do what needs to be done in order to be forward the agenda of the king. Right? You even see that in the rich one where they do him question the morality in which they do the ones who suffered the violence in Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah, they sit and talk about it. They suffer PTSD. I would even see that with some of them even come to the senses. Now they didn't come to the truth, but they come to the senses and realize they were just pawns. You see that it if I research this one, it's his name, the sniper Nick Irvin. He goes into that a lot. Right? But you see now, when you go to Ecclesiastes 4, what is Ecclesiastes 5? Ecclesiastes 4. They'll be higher than they. So, Ecclesiastes 5 and 8. I will read it in a different translation. I believe it does read beautifully in the NLT. Ecclesiastes 5 and 8. It says, don't be surprised if you see a poor person being oppressed by the powerful, and if justice is being miscarried throughout the land, which this is what these men in power to do now, or the ones who used or the ones they use, like for instance, Trump using the National Guard, he using ICE, he using the military, in fact, to carry out foreign policy, which is unjust. For every official is under orders from higher ups. So that is why some of them don't even question no more. You just get the program them to the point where here we're going on. Just do as I say. But I be just, unjust, they don't question it anymore. And matters of justice get lost in red tape and bureaucracy. Right? So, what you could look forward to as a veteran, right, to join in the military, which scriptures prophesied Babylon to be a land that without wars, that dwelt without cares. Right? So you can leave your land, you're going to leave the land of Babylon as military personnel. And where you're going to be in these latter days? 2nd Ezra 16th chapter, reading at leave 33rd verse. It says, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms, the woman shall mourn having no husbands. their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars, right? Because you're gonna have a lot of wars. The scripture talk about wars and rumors of wars. Right? You're gonna have a lot of wars leading up to that final battle of Armageddon. Which you get that scripture, you're gonna find yourself in the battle of Armageddon. Right? It says, in the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So what you can look forward to is being killed off in a war. You can look forward to being, just used as a point of foreign military policy. Alright. So gonna be used just to forward military agendas which have no benefit to you, right? And you're gonna lose your life as a result of it, right? When you read, I mentioned it, the war in which you're gonna find yourself in is in I'm gonna look it up. Revelation 16:16. He said he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. Right? This is the final battle they're gonna find themselves. Should they survive? Right? Should you survive? But they're gonna be gathered together into that place to do war, to work war, to fight war. Ultimately, where you will be met by a Hawashai, which you see here, Revelation 16:15 says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. What you're going to become are met with astonishment, because Yahushua is coming like a thief upon your bitch ass, right, to get rid of you, right? I wanted to go into that word Armageddon there. 16. Revelation 16:16. Right. Armageddon. Revelation 6. The word Armageddon in Revelation 16:16. G7:17, and Revelation 16:16. The scene of 8. What? In Revelation 16, the scene of 8, of the struggle of good and evil is suggested by the battle plane of Ezra Elon, which was famous for two great victories of Barak over the Canaanites and of Gideon over the Midianites. Is a place in which wars take place, right? And for two great disasters, the deaths of Saul and Josiah. Hence, in Revelation, a place of great slaughter. You're going to be put there to be slaughtered, if not by enemy forces, by the enemy force, right? Yeah. The scene of terrible retribution upon the wicked, right? Going to Hebrew, and let's see. Right, it goes back into which is a hill, and Gadad, which is to penetrate, cut, attack, invade, to penetrate, cut into, cut oneself, to gather in troops or crowds. This is where you're going to be. Where you're going to meet when you're there. Revelation 9. And what is it? Let me see. Salak. I'm going to see. Revelation 6. Revelation 6 and 15. Revelation 6 and 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come. And who shall be able to stand? That great day, Gedalia Wam of Yahushua is come. You're going to have a first class ticket. You're going to be one of the first men to meet Yahushua when he comes back. And trust me, you're going to be one of the first men to die when Yahushua comes back. That is what you could expect when you join the military. A man, you believe your enemy is one of the other nations on this earth. No, it's Yahushua, the God that you knew all day to be a sacrifice unto Yahushua. Literally. So like when I go to Isaiah 34, from verse 1, it says, come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken ye people, that the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai is upon all nations, and going to first meet these nations military, and his fury upon all their armies. See, he had utterly destroyed them, he had delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be, also shall be cast out, their stink shall come up. So it's just going to be a pile of bodies upon dead bodies out of their carcasses, and their mountain, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and their host shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, and behold, it shall come down upon the people of my curse to judgment. Salah here. Let me read that over. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Right, so you see these main people are the Lord. The main people the Lord aims to target, the Idumeans, but it's going to have a sacrifice concerning all people, whether it be from Idumea or otherwise, because the military is not just made up of Edomites. They have Jakes enlisted in the military, and all other foreign nations enlisted in the American military. And they're going to be foreign nations, right, from other militaries, right, from Iran, for instance, and the Elamites. Gonna have the Moabites there, Ammonites there. The Russians are Edomites, I think. Hamitic nations there. Goma there, which Goma references Turkey. The Hamitic nations references the African tribes who may have sided with one or the other, right? Because South Africa sides with Russia, Libya sides with Russia. Trying to remember other Ethiopia prophetically sides with Russia. Trying to remember if there's any other African nation. None comes to mind right now. Brazil. Brazil is not African nation, South American, but they're mainly made up of Asher, right? So Jake's gonna be there as well, right? And what are you gonna be there for? It says the sword of the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai is filled with blood. It is made with fat. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai had a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So you're going to be a part of that slaughter should you join the military, should you decide to fight for those ideas. Some of you all might not even do it willingly. As we see, a man had a dream last year, going to roughly paraphrase it. The Elamanati Zakbar did a video on it, in which the man would have said that he would have carried off, or the American military would have carried off a lot of you Jakes to enlist in it forcefully against your will. Right, a lot of your YNs, them going into the military, right? And with them going into the military, when they entered into the war, he got the vision of them going into the military, being carried off into the military, and then dropped smack bang in the middle of the war. And they were severely outclassed, severely outmatched when it came to warfare with guns. Right? They were severely outmatched. So what? Salakia. I apologize. I'm not even that. So what gonna, what happened to them? They were killed off, right? They were killed off, and here you Jakes who find yourself in the military, willingly or unwillingly, as I wanted to point out there, because a lot of you are gonna just be taken up, right? You could walk, you have a certain age here, you're gonna join the military whether you want to or otherwise, and then they're gonna be killed off. Second is 16 and 33, right? You're gonna be killed off. So continuing, right? How are you gonna meet him? Second Ezra's 13th chapter. So like it's here. Second Ezra 13 from verse Second Ezra 13 from verse 14. Thou hast shewed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. Show me now yet the interpretation of this dream. For as I conceive in my understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days. You find yourself not just in the war, but much more woe to them that be in the war. First class ticket to be killed by Yahushai. Unless they be part of the, maybe might have some elect members here and they get beamed up because the destruction also coming simultaneously with the deliverance. So should you not have a ticket on a chariot and you're there, you're going to be first met with destruction by Yahushua. None will be left living. Continuing, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. You're going to be met with perils. You're going to be met with perilous times. Going to the word perils. Serious, immediate danger. You're going to be put in a position in which you're going to be met with serious, immediate danger. And imagine that World War III is going to be the least of your problems. World War III is going to be the least of your problems when your house cracks into our atmosphere. Jesus. Not interesting. Say that. I don't know what's that. Alright, going back now. It says, yes, it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. And he answered unto me and said, the interpretation of the vision shall I shew thee. I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. Salah. Right, from 25 actually. I'm going to do too much reading. It says, this is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming out from the midst of the sea, which, if you watch War of the Worlds, they portrayed some of the so-called chariots as coming up out from the sea, but they have China coming up out from the sea. He's coming from the sky. He said that. He said he's coming from the sky, the same way which you see him leave, or so rather, the angels told the apostles that the same way in which you see him leave, you're going to see him return in like manner. But Salakia. But when it mentions the sea here, because putting the sea here doesn't make it inaccurate. When you go to Genesis 1, when the firmament was made, because Yahweh Shai coming through the firmament, and we often say he cracked the skies, he's coming through the firmament. The firmament was made to do what? Separate the waters that are above the firmament from the waters that are underneath the firmament. Underneath the firmament would be the waters here on earth. And then above the firmament would be the waters out there into space. As we go reference out there as space or the galaxy or the universe, whatever you have, right? There's waters there. So Yahweh Shai needs to go through those waters and go into our atmosphere. So it's not inaccurate to see he's coming out of the sea. Right? It says, the same is he whom power the highest had kept a great season. Right? Sit down on my right hand till I make thy enemies thy footstool. 2,000 years plus Yahweh Shai has been waiting to come and exact vengeance on his enemies, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind, and fire, and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude, which the multitude gonna be who? The ones gathered together warring each other. That came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and it shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another. So like one people against another and one realm against another. So what you gonna be involved in if you're in a military is the war between realms. I like referencing back to the war of the worlds, which worlds could go back into realms. It have the heavenly world, right? It have many ways the word world could be utilized within the scriptures. It have the world of birds. It have the worlds of clothes. Right? It have the world of people. It have the world of animals. People often hear people say that the animal world, it's the world, and then it's the animal world, and it has many worlds within that animal world. So the world of animals, and it's the world of lions, the world of tigers, etc. Right? So you're gonna be involved in a war between two types of worlds: the humanly world, the mortal world, and then the heavenly world. So the realms. You're gonna be involved in a war against, as these people would have them put, extraterrestrials. Right? It says continuing, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass. The signs shall happen which I shewed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle that they have won against another. Say World War III were going to be taking place. They're going to stop fighting the people on the earth he was fighting against. Then they're going to join them who he was fighting against to do what? And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together. You all going to band together. Combine your forces to do what? And as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting, but he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be shewn to all men, being prepared builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall do what? Shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations. So you're coming into a heavy rebuke from Yahweh Shai, and he rebukes with fire. which for their wicked life are fallen, into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto fire. Right, so you're not coming back. You had to get a visual here. Yahweh Shai not gonna fight you with a sword. Yahweh Shai not gonna fight you with a spear or a shield. He's coming back with heavenly artillery, angelic artillery, heavenly forces, angelic forces. Right, so you're gonna end yourself up in a battle and a fight that you can't win. Right, so Lord, when this video was edifying and that you were edified and closing, like to say, Kal Halal Yom Lai Hawa, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. As always, I like to say, Shalom unto the elect to repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.